If you want to change the world, start off by making your bed. If you make your bed every morning, you will have accomplished the first task of the day. It will give you a small sense of pride, and it will encourage you to do another task, and another, and another. And by the end of the day, that one task completed will have turned into many tasks completed. Making your bed will also reinforce the fact that the little things in life matter. If you can't do the little things right, you'll never be able to do the big things right. And if by chance you have a miserable day, you will come home to a bed that is made, that you made. And a made bed gives you encouragement that tomorrow will be better.
I would like to be in the Bucks.
I was just perusing some of the headlines for today. One of our old KC-135s crashed in Iraq.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Refueling somebody, and something went wrong. We're looking
135.
Yeah, that's the old version of 707.
707, yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, probably an Air National Guard tanker. Most of them are being flown by the Guard these days.
Yeah, well, the Guard always gets the leftovers.
Yeah.
I was still flying Hueys when the Army was flying Blackhawks.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, we had a Utah National Guard. They had an old C-97 tanker.
You had to have a canteen with you to get from one end to the other. That thing, didn't you?
Yeah, you had to have they had to fly so slow to refuel with it. You know, it was not a fast airplane. So C-97 was just like a B-29 airframe of B-29 engines. A little bigger body, you know. I got kind of it looks like we got a herky-jerky screen today. Not sure what that's about. I'm going to turn off that other. So anything new for the week? Have you heard any more about the Maricopa County, what do we call it?
Election fraud?
Election fraud?
No, really.
Anything broken out?
No, I don't think anything new is broken out. The FBI came and got all the records in the 2020.
Right.
Which is going to cause somebody.
Didn't they get 2022 too?
I think they did. I think they picked up those 2 years. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, I know that's going on. And Harmeet Dillon, she's an attorney that used to be with the Republican National Committee, but she's working for Pam Bondi now as the Civil Rights Division of the Justice Department. She's making states take off all the dead people and et cetera off their voter rolls, and many of the Democrat states have filed lawsuits. So she's one by one knocking them off to get the voter rolls cleaned up. And she says that there's millions of people that shouldn't be on the voter rolls.
Yeah, there's a lot of that going around. I read an article this morning that said that Kash Patel is looking into the fact that the FBI and the Department of Justice back to 2016, 2015 was treating Trump as a national security issue.
Oh yeah, I saw that too. Yeah.
And so they're looking at all these operations, Arctic Frost and Crossfire Hurricane and all that kind of stuff, and going into the depths of them to find out why, what they thought they could get away with to investigate that and wiretap people and all that kind of stuff. So
yeah,
that could put us, done well, that could put a lot of people in the jail.
Yeah, they had some evil folks working at FBI. Hello, Ken Bennett. How are you, sir?
Good, Don. How are you? Hi, Paul.
I'm just
Hey,
fine.
Kim.
Home safe and sound, are you?
Yes.
Oh, good. Yeah, nice to be back home,
Yeah, he's
probably.
can't can't see it, but he's got his Ken Bennett parking sign there somewhere over his left shoulder.
Oh,
Was it
that's
there?
that was my sign at the Senate.
Yeah, yeah.
They used to
Hey,
have your name on your parking space, but then when we had some death threats to some of the senators, they
took them all down.
took them all down.
Well, you got it for free, right?
I did.
It looks
Well,
good on the
not free.
wall.
I mean, I had to run for office and get elected,
Oh,
but
yeah, sure. Yeah. Yeah, right. Yeah,
You were going to do that. You were going to
yeah,
do that anyway.
that's not that's not free for sure.
oh
Yeah.
no.
So we were just talking about a little bit about the Maricopa County and the FBI coming in getting some of their election records and what's all
Well, there's
going
a
on
lot of
there.
I'm glad we're talking about that because there's a lot of misinformation
Yeah,
about
oh,
this.
I'm sure. Yeah, yeah. So anything you know
That's
about it, you can fill us in. Feel free to fill us in. We're already on the clock. So
okay. Is Jeff going to join us, by the way?
he's supposed to. Yeah, yeah. He
Okay.
should. Yeah.
Well, I went down to Tucson on Tuesday night and spoke to his group, and it went very
Oh,
well.
good. Oh, good. Yeah,
So I was hoping
yeah.
he would be on the show today.
That's good. Your presentation is fabulous. So I'm sure they
Thank you.
enjoyed it. Yeah,
Yeah.
Did you
good.
did you use? I didn't. I'm sorry I couldn't make it. I was doing a biblical citizenship course, and
Okay.
Yeah,
so I
Well,
couldn't. I couldn't
yeah.
break. I couldn't avoid that.
He was
we
using the
almost,
Amazon boxes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, even the president's tweet about secretly seizing election records from Maricopa County, is incorrect on 2 points. One, they didn't seize anything from Maricopa County. They didn't secretly seize anything. They sent a subpoena to Warren Peterson, the president of the Arizona Senate.
Right.
Warren was the majority leader 5 years ago under Karen Fann, who was the Senate president when we did the audit and everything. But what they did is they subpoenaed records that the Senate had from the audit. Um, Now I'm hearing people, say, "Oh, they went in and got ballots from Maricopa County, or they, got anything from Maricopa County," which is not correct. They didn't. There was no subpoena to Maricopa County. Under state law, all of the ballots were destroyed probably a couple years ago. You have to keep if an election involves a federal race, the election jurisdictions, which are the counties in Arizona, have to keep the election data and materials for 2 years. But then you're directed by state law that you're supposed to delete it. So what the Senate probably had was anything electronically that they had received from Maricopa County 5 years ago when they subpoenaed all the information about the 2020 election from Maricopa County.
Yeah.
So, and I still have a box full of stuff that I have from the audit too. So, although I'm starting to get I got 5 calls on Monday from reporters around the country asking what I knew. And then I got a call today from a reporter asking if I had been subpoenaed. I got a text message. I got a text message from Secretary of State Adrian Fontes, who wondered if I'd been subpoenaed, and the answer is no. But what the Senate probably had was all of the information that the cyber ninjas submitted to the Senate after doing their audit. Well, what did they have? They took pictures of the 2.1 million ballots. We had the paper ballots 5 years ago, and they took pictures of them with high definition cameras, front and back, even though the only races we were looking at were on the front, the president and the U.S. Senate. But they took pictures of the front and the back of 2.1 million ballots. The county was supposed to have sent the Senate 5 years ago the ballot images that were captured during the election in November of 2020 by the Dominion machines. All of the election systems in the US, when a ballot goes through a ballot reading machine, it takes a picture of that ballot, and then the county has designed the ballot and programmed the software so that they can recognize, oh, this is a ballot from Glendale, or this is a ballot from Tempe, or this is a ballot from wherever. And then each ballot style, they're called, has to be programmed into the system to say, okay, if you get a Tempe, Arizona ballot, black mark in this spot is, or here's the president race, here's the U.S. Senate race, but you get down somewhere and, okay, here's the city council races for Tempe. And so that ballot's going to be a little bit different than one from Glendale or Phoenix or whatever.
Yeah.
And so, but whether you're using Dominion election systems or ES&S, which is the most predominant election management system used by Arizona counties, 13 of the 15 counties use ES&S. One, Maricopa, uses Dominion. And then the county I live in, Yavapai, uses another system called Unison. But no matter which system it is, they're taking a picture of the ballot when it goes through the machine, and then the software is programmed to read certain black marks in certain places to be certain votes for certain people, or to be votes for certain people. So what the Maricopa County was supposed to have submitted all of the ballot images to the Senate 5 years ago. Unfortunately, the auditors that they picked didn't do much with the Maricopa ballot images. I wish they would have focused more on that, or as much on that as recounting all of the ballots by hand, the paper ballots by hand.
Right.
But they didn't. But they probably had the ballot images if Maricopa County complied with the subpoena from 5 years ago. So what did the FBI probably get from the Senate? They probably got 4.2 million pictures of the fronts and the backs of 2.1 million ballots that Maricopa gave to the Senate back then. They got another 4.2 million pictures, the fronts and backs of 2.1 million ballots that the cyber ninjas took when we had the ballots in our possession. And I'm sure, I mean, they could have gotten thousands of hours of video recordings while the ballots and all the stuff was at the Arizona Memorial Coliseum there in Phoenix.
Right.
Because just like in an election, we had live ballots in the Coliseum. And so one of the things that the ninjas did is they had cameras running 24/7 for 5 months.
Yeah.
Showing where the ballots were, where were the machines, where were, that we had ballots out on the tables and they were running, turning them around on lazy Susans and counting them by hand. Anyway, so they probably got a lot of information returned to the Senate as part of the audit product. And that's probably what they gave over to the FBI. But there weren't any ballots, and there wasn't anything that the FBI asked for or got from Maricopa County. They made one request to the state Senate, and the Senate president said he complied.
Okay, good. Now, the other thing we brought up, Ken, was, and you may have seen this, where Harmeet Dillon, she was an attorney for the Republican National Committee. She is an attorney, but she worked with the Republican National Committee. And she's now Pam Bondi's civil rights. She has the civil rights division of the Justice Department.
Okay.
She says there are millions of people that need to be taken off the voter rolls. And there are several states, of course, they're blue states, that are resisting that effort. So she's knocking them off one by one, taking them to court and getting people removed from the ballot. ballots. So, do you know if she's done any work in Arizona, or is Adrian Fontes resisting removing dead people off Arizona
Well, okay.
election rolls?
I don't know if she's done any work in Arizona.
Yeah,
It's not Adrian Fontes that takes people or puts people on or takes people off the rolls.
right.
It's each individual county
County,
recorder.
right. Yeah,
Um, and then as the county recorders in each of the 15 counties add new voters, and yes, they do take dead people off the rolls in Arizona. One of the things that the Secretary of State's office does do as far as voter rolls is the Department of Vital Statistics, whenever there's a death record recorded in Arizona, the Department of Vital Statistics sends those weekly to the Secretary of State's office. The Secretary of State's office, because I oversaw this when I was Secretary of State.
right.
Secretary of State staff then divides them by the counties and sends those death records to the counties. And then the counties take them off. The other thing that happens is after every election cycle, the counties take people off the rolls if they have moved or died, or if they have been an inactive voter for 2 consecutive election cycles, then they're supposed to be removed from the voter rolls too. And you become an inactive voter when a county election department tries to mail you something related to an election and it's returned to them that you no longer live at that address. You move then from the active voter rolls to the inactive rolls. Now, there's about 4.3 million active voters in Arizona. There's about 600,000 inactive.
Okay.
So once you get on the inactive voter roll, if you don't participate in 2 consecutive elections, Arizona state law says you're supposed to be removed from the voter rolls. And that has been happening in Arizona. It happened during the 6 years I was secretary, and I've seen it happen under Secretary Fontes.
Yeah.
Usually happens at the end of the year, but we had about 300,000 or 400,000 voters that were removed from the Arizona voter rolls at the end of 2025, I think it was.
Okay.
And so you see the voter rolls kind of go up and down and up and down, but about every 2 years you'll see a big chunk where they are taken off the rolls because, I mean, the ones that die are taken off every week or every month or whatever.
Right.
But the inactive voters who have not participated in an election 2 cycles in a row get removed in one big block at the end of every other year. And that happened in Arizona like it's supposed to.
Could the Secretary of State order the county recorders not to purge the voter rolls, or do something, or not pay attention to the data once they did?
If they did, they would be violating state law.
Okay.
Because the state law instructs the election departments and actually instructs the county recorders to remove voters when they die, when they move, or after they've been inactive voters and not participated for 2 election cycles in a row. That's in state law. So now I thought it interesting. There was a news story in the last few days that the Secretary of State and the Attorney General apparently sent a letter or an email to all of the 15 county recorders, encouraging them not to cooperate with the DOJ as far as giving them their voter rolls.
Okay.
And Secretary Fontes has made a big deal that he's refusing to give the DOJ Arizona's full unredacted voter rolls but what he should have given and what they should have asked for is the regular voter rolls that are deemed in state law to be public records. I mean, anybody
Yeah,
can go,
sure.
anybody can ask for the
Yeah,
statewide voter roll, and if you pay about $400 or $500, you get it.
yeah,
But you don't get social security numbers. You don't get mother's maiden names.
right.
You don't get a few things that are very, very sensitive
Yeah,
to a person's personal
sure.
information.
But the federal government has all that anyway.
Yeah. So so if the federal government would ask Arizona, just give us your voter rolls that are the public voter rolls you would give anybody if they asked for them and paid for them, like is
Right.
stipulated in state law, they
Yeah,
get almost everything they need.
sure. Yeah, yeah. Interesting. Yeah, I know some of the other blue states are fighting even fighting to give them their answers about if they have or have not purged the people they're supposed to. And I suppose does every state have the law that you have to purge the voter rolls?
I don't know.
I don't know
I
that either. Maybe
I
some
know
don't.
I know a bit about Arizona, but I don't know
Yeah,
very
right.
much about other
Yeah,
states.
yeah,
'Cause
sure. Yeah.
I've never lived in any other state other than Arizona.
Well, I'll investigate Florida, but I'll try to find out if we I seem to remember listening to our county recorder from Sumter County, which is just south of us, that he said that they do have a purge that they do and taking people off it, and et cetera.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they'd share those records with whoever. But I mean, the federal government has, any sensitive information, they got it, right? They give out social security numbers. So,
Well, the IRS, between the IRS and the Social Security Department,
yeah,
they know more about me than I really probably
there you
wish they
go.
did. But
Yeah,
I
that's
don't know.
right. Yeah. So listen, I have to, I didn't take a chance last week to congratulate you on your prediction for the Iran attack, Ken. You said 2 to 3 weeks, and boom, there it was. So so you must have had some inside info from Pete
No, 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 no,
or
no.
Marco or
It was an
some
educated
connection or
guess. It was an educated
well, it was
guess.
a good one though. It's a good guess.
Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
no,
Well,
I don't have any inside information.
you felt that because of all the buildup and everything going on that it was going to happen. So gut feel, right? Yeah.
Well,
So anyway,
Witkoff and Kushner,
yeah,
it reported to somebody, and it was in a story a couple weeks ago that when they went in to negotiate with the Iranians that you're not going to have a nuclear weapon,
yeah,
they said the Iranians told us how much stuff we have and how quickly we could make it into
right, yeah,
weapons grade. They
yeah,
had so many hundreds of tons at 60%, and they could
yeah,
have so
right.
much of it.
That's right.
And so, if you're dumb enough to tell representatives of Donald Trump that you're within a week or two of being able to have a nuclear weapon, this is what you're going to get.
Yeah. Well, that was kind of their, what are you going to do about
And I think they
it?
found out.
So yeah, they did find out. Yeah, you see the FO stuff going around on all social media, so it's pretty evident what's going on there. So where do you guys think we're going to go from here? I know there's a lot of stuff. There was a lot of stuff over the weekend. A big move on social media about different things over there, and if you listen to General Caine and Hegseth, and you listen to the Admiral, I think it's Gordon that comes to us from CENTCOM. It sounds like they've got everything under control, and they're going to keep going, and they're going to get rid of everything they got. And I know they've hit a couple of tankers in the Straits of Hormuz, and the speculators are going crazy with the oil, and also the insurance. I guess Lloyd's of London upped their insurance by 500% if they want to take a ship through the Straits of Hormuz. So a lot of that's driving the reason they're not going through. But do you guys expect us to begin to protect ships and move them through the Straits of Hormuz in a few more days?
Mr. Chairman, over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary, and good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for joining us today. Before I start with an update, I also want to address the tragic loss of our KC-135 refueling aircraft yesterday. The incident occurred over friendly territory in western Iraq while the crew was on a combat mission, and again was not the result, as CENTCOM has said, was not the result of hostile or friendly fire. We're still treating this as an active rescue and recovery operation. As CENTCOM announced this morning, 4 airmen have been recovered, and the Air Force and U.S. Central Command will provide updates as information becomes available. Please keep these brave airmen, their families, friends, and units in your thoughts in the coming hours and days. Our service members make an incredible sacrifice to go forward and do the things that the nation asks of them. It's a reminder of the true cost of the dedication and commitment of the Joint Force. We're also aware of a fire on board the USS Gerald R. Ford. We're thinking about the crew there who are injured in the fire. We believe and hope that everyone will be okay, and we're grateful for that. And for any further questions on that, we'd refer you to NAVCENT or to the Navy. This morning, we enter the 13th day of Operation Epic Fury, and we continue to make progress towards our military objectives. As the Secretary said, today will be our heaviest day of kinetic fires across the operating area. CENTCOM continues to attack ballistic missile and drone capabilities so that they are no longer a threat to U.S. forces, our bases, or our partners. They're continuing to destroy the Iranian Navy to ensure freedom of navigation, and this means going after Iran's mine-laying capability and destroying their ability to attack commercial vessels. And we're targeting their defense industrial base so they cannot rebuild the capabilities that can harm America's interests or our partners in the future. As Admiral Cooper said in his update on Wednesday, Iranian combat power continues to decline as a result of the continued strikes, as the Secretary talked about. We've attacked over 6,000 targets, and our strike packages continue to launch every hour, and we've maintained an unprecedented number of sorties up overhead of Iran. CENTCOM is now persistently over the enemy, and a result, we've seen a reduction in missile and one-way attack fires, as the Secretary said. In less than 2 weeks, we've rendered the Iranian Navy combat ineffective and continue to attack naval vessels, including all of their Soleimani-class warships, which were armed with anti-ship missiles and anti-aircraft weapons. We've made progress, but Iran still has the capability to harm friendly forces and commercial shipping, and our work on this effort continues. But I want to make something clear. The only thing preventing commercial traffic and flow through the Straits right now, which there is some through the Straits, is Iran. They are the belligerents here holding the Straits closed, although there is some traffic moving through there. We've made it a priority to target Iran's mine-laying enterprise, their mine layers, the naval bases and depots, in addition to the missiles that could influence the Straits. And CENTCOM continues to attack those efforts. And we continue to make progress on the industrial base to include factories, weapons, warehouses that are stored in, and we will continue to do so in the coming days, especially today. Now, as I often do, I want to share a little bit about our incredible joint force. Today, I'm going to talk about our incredible artillery force comprised of American soldiers and Marines who've been sinking ships, destroying depots, and launching Army tactical missile systems, or ATACMS, precision strike missiles, or PrSMs, and high-mobility rocket systems, or HIMARS. From outside Iran, our Army and Marine artillerymen are hitting sites that Iran relies on to project power beyond their borders and protect our deployed. In just the first 13 days of this operation, our artillery forces have made history. They fired the first precision strike missiles ever used in combat, reaching deep into enemy territory. They've used Army ATACMS to sink multiple ships, including a submarine, and they've done all of this with the precision and determination that comes from relentless training and trust in each other and in their weapon systems. Yesterday, I had the incredible honor and privilege of speaking with some of our young soldiers from the 3rd Battalion, 27th Field Artillery Regiment out of Fort Bragg, North Carolina, the unit and the crew that fired the first precision strike missiles. The soldiers I met came from all over this great country, New York, Texas, Delaware, California. One had been in the Army only 6 months and been in the unit for 2 months and was already deployed. He was the youngest at 20, but you would not know it from the way that they talked about their mission. The others were 22 and 28 years old. They spoke with the sense of calm pride, purpose, and clarity that tells you clearly they understand the weight of what they're doing and the people who depend on them. I asked them to walk me through a fire mission. I asked not just what they do, but what they feel, especially those first crew members on this particular mission. These soldiers basically live in these vehicles behind us. The cab, very tight, 2 folks sit next to each other with the crew commander behind them. It's jammed inside there with their personal weapons and kit, and they sit and wait for a fire mission. And when that fire mission comes, they close the armored doors and begin to program the systems. They then throw 3 simple toggle switches, and 10 to 15 feet behind them, a rocket motor ignites, and the round is headed downrange to do the nation's work. I asked these youngsters, these young, awesome Americans, what does that feel like? And one of them just looked at me and said, it's awesome. No drama, no hesitation, in the middle of the day, in the middle of the night, in the sun, the rain, in the snow, flawless execution. Their Marine counterparts are out there doing the same thing every night. Same work, same pressure, same expectations, same results. And we hand tremendous and enormous responsibility to these young Americans, and they carry it with a level of maturity, grit, professionalism, and tenacity that makes me incredibly proud to be a part of their joint force. Their parents and families would and should be incredibly proud. And their leaders and I trust them to do the deeds that they must do in difficult circumstances every single time. I also want to touch today for a moment today on their leadership. These young Americans are led by extraordinary young leaders out at the tactical edge. Yesterday, the battery commander and her NCO were there with this crew on the same video screen. The 2 of them hardly said a word. They didn't have to. In their eyes, and in particular the commander's eyes, you could see the quiet trust and confidence she had in these soldiers and the rest of their battery. It came through loud and clear, and we appreciate their leadership. When I asked these soldiers yesterday, what is it that you need from the Secretary and I, they looked at each other, paused for a moment, and looked back at me and said, more rounds, sir. It was awesome. So thank you to those soldiers and Marines out on the firing line supporting our mission, and thank you to their families. Our joint force will continue today to deliver dynamic fires against the enemy from the land, sea, and air. We remain deeply grateful for their service, and for the 3rd time today, I'll mention that today will be our busiest day. This mission remains complex, dangerous, and difficult. This mission remains complex, dangerous, and difficult, and every service member has a family waiting for them to return home. And I want to thank all of the families today who are supporting their deployed forces and those doing the work here in the States. On a personal note today, I also want to thank the Joint Staff and the team that I have the pleasure of working with, some of them right here in this room. They are working 24 hours a day to deliver the options that we must to the Secretary and to the President. Today, as I close, I ask that we remember our fallen and those participating in the recovery operations to bring home our lost KC-135 crew, that we keep those service members and their families in their thoughts and prayers. Those are very, very, very tough days when that knock comes on the door for people on both sides of the door. Again, thank you to our deployed, thank you to our fallen, and to their families, and to the Joint Force. And with that, I'll turn it back to you, sir.
Mr. Chairman.
The missile sites on the Hormuz, Iranian side of the Hormuz Strait, and then of course he can put warships in there. It's a little bit risky, but put warships in there with anti-missile capabilities and protect the crews. They can get through. It appears they've already gotten 2 ships that I think I saw this morning.
Mm-hmm.
And that's unfortunate because of it's a two double-edged sword. You've got the oil loss and you've got the pollution issue, which is going to be a bad thing when we could sink one of these million-gallon or million-barrel tankers. You put a lot of junk in the water. So
Are the Houthis involved? Have they been at all? Have you guys heard their name at all involved in the last few days?
I haven't heard
anything
it,
about
but
it.
they were the ones that were causing the problems early on.
Right. Yeah.
So they're there now. Whether they're going to be doing anything or not, we don't know right now.
So Yemen borders that waterway,
Yeah,
part of it, the southern part of it, I guess.
southern part of it, I think.
Yeah. And then
Maybe not the Straits proper.
and then Iran is on their western border,
Right.
right? And then it borders other parts of that waterway. So yeah, I heard some guy was speculating today they were using undersea drones to attack these ships, but then you see these ships. One of them that was attacked, it obviously got hit from in the upper deck on top. So it couldn't have been wasn't anything under the water. So I know they're doing a lot of talking. Iran is. They say they got the word out from the new leader that they're gonna do whatever they have to do and they're gonna attack us and blah blah blah. But it was a written message, and they said they've shown no proof of life.
Yeah.
So I don't know if the guy's really out of his coma or if he's even alive or not. So unless you guys have heard something different.
It's the Joe Biden leadership style.
That's
Well,
a good point.
I think Trump and the U.S. are going to focus on 3 things. I think they're going to do whatever they have to do to make sure that the Strait of Hormuz is usable as a reasonable shipping lane.
Yeah.
Now, I've also heard reports, though, that, for example, Saudi Arabia is already rerouting by pipeline some of their oil so that it doesn't have to go through the Strait of Hormuz.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
So I think Trump is going to make sure that oil can move through the Straits of Hormuz. And that's, as you just said, destroying Iran's ability to restrict that economic roadway. 2, they have to eliminate the Revolutionary Guard.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And 3, they have to kill whoever's the new leader until somebody pops up and says, okay, I'm not going to pursue nuclear weapons, even if they're lying about it.
Yeah.
Somebody next in line is going to have to ascend to the leadership that isn't talking bully to Trump, or he'll take him out. I think he'll take him out one after another until somebody finally cries uncle and says, okay, we won't pursue a nuclear weapon, even though they probably will be. So I think those are I think you got to take out the Revolutionary Guard so that the people of Iran have a reasonable opportunity to install the leaders that they choose instead of military leaders picked by the Guard.
I know that, and those are great points, Ken. I know that Israel has been attacking the Iranian police in the streets that set up these roadblocks. Israel has been destroying their roadblocks for them. and I know the last 2 or 3 days we've been in a heavy bombing campaign with the B-1s and the B-52s and probably the B-2s, dropping bombs on the Revolutionary Guard, their barracks or strongholds or whatever, wherever they stay or whatever they're living in, whatever cave they're living in. So they're attacking them. So that's exactly what's been going on. I don't know if they have any Navy left. It sounds like they destroyed most of their Navy. So they showed a couple of attacks into Israel, mostly from Hezbollah the last couple of days, but Israel is going after Hezbollah up in Lebanon, yeah. So I don't know. You kind of feel like if you look at the big picture, it kind of feels like it's all coming down to just a few more days. We're going to be at a choke point where they're going to be in dire straits. And aren't going to be able to do much to anybody. So one guy speculated, one Israeli guy, and I heard this today. I watched a video on Israeli Update. He says the Iranian strategy now is to attack the UAE. They're putting heavy pressure on the UAE, so they're taking their stuff and attacking the UAE, trying to make them uncomfortable and trying to have them cry uncle and get real scared, and then try to get Trump. They'll try to get Trump to back off a little bit, but I don't know. I don't see that influencing Trump very much
No.
until the job's done.
Any attacks that Iran does on their neighbors pushes those neighbors towards the U.S.
Yeah.
And they will then appreciate Trump destroying the military capabilities of Iran to the point where they can't influence the Straits of Hormuz.
Yeah.
They can't support the Revolutionary Guard in putting down kind of a democratic revolution by the people of Iran.
Yeah.
And picking on your neighbors, your Arab neighbors, because Trump is picking on you is not going to go well.
Yeah. Mary Margaret told me she heard something this morning on the news that 2 cities in Iran have been taken over by the civilians. So that may be the start of what we're looking to accomplish here. If we can get the Iranian Republic, IRGC, out of the picture, and that's the way it's going to start. It's going to start one city at a time.
Yeah.
And I think that's the best we can hope for.
Yeah.
Speaker Johnson he responded to a question about, are we going to be trying to build a nation the way that we want it to look like in Iran? He said, I don't support that. And so some in the media are trying to say, well, now you got Johnson at odds with the president. But I don't think we can try to build Iran the way we want it. We have to destroy the radical leadership so that the people of Iran can have an Iran that they want.
Yeah. I think they're on the same wavelength. I don't think they're different.
I agree.
Respect. Yeah.
I agree.
I think they just want to make sure they're not going to be able to threaten and attack and threaten us with a nuclear weapon or an ICBM and threaten any of their neighbors with anything. So they're going to move them back to the Stone Age, and they won't be able to. So they'll have to think about rebuilding their country and putting everything back together.
And every time they shoot something from somewhere, I'm sure we've got satellites looking at it, and that's the next target that gets taken out.
Sure.
So,
yeah.
It's just
you push the button.
You can see we can take pictures of people running around on the ground, right?
Oh yeah.
With satellites. So yeah,
we can read their license plate and follow them home.
That's right. Yeah. So yeah, you if you're outside, you might be in trouble if you're inside, even if you're not outside. So yeah. So it's interesting to watch all of the the naysayers especially CNN is just they're just out of their minds.
Yeah.
They go over and interview some guy in Iran and they believe everything they're told. Man, it's right.
Well, I'm starting to like this Fetterman guy because he was
Yeah. Oh
interviewed by
yeah.
CNN, or someone said, "Well, what happens when this son takes over for Khamenei and he's as bad or worse than his dad? Well, then we need to kill him too." He said that. Yeah, baby.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a
Yep.
that used to be the gentleman's war. We didn't do that, but I
Yeah.
think the gentleman's wars are over.
And on another kind of crazy subject about back to elections, did you guys see Schumer talking about we have to let illegal citizens vote? They have a right to vote. And he went
I haven't
on and on. He went on and on in the Senate, gave a big Senate speech about how we have to give them the right to vote. They should have the right to vote. Um, what in the world are those people thinking? I mean,
I don't know.
seriously.
Well, you know what they're
What?
thinking. They're thinking they can get away with that and stay in power. That's what they think.
Yeah. Yeah.
It-
But
and
I,
it-
I mean,
we may
I
have to
mean,
go to our founders' uh, philosophy,
yeah.
and like the Declaration says, when we don't like what we're doing, we have to change or abolish it,
Yeah.
and that may be what needs to be done, is a little abolishing.
Yeah. But do they think it through? I mean, you just wonder. They just come up with this stuff and drop it, and you just
Well,
I don't get it.
we all
you
look at
watch
each
them-
other and go, "What?"
You watched them in the State of the Union message sit there and on their
Oh,
butts
yeah.
when
Yeah.
the president said, "Stand up if you think the government's job is to take care of American citizens before
Yeah,
illegal aliens."
before illegal,
They
yeah.
said, "We don't think so.
Yeah.
We want to take care of the people that are going to elect us." That's
Yeah.
what they
Except
said.
Fetterman, he stood up. Fetterman
Yeah.
stood up.
Yeah. No, you're right, Paul. That's a good point.
So
It's
they
just-
evidently are not afraid of the electorate taking
But to
them
hear
to
it-
task.
to hear a United States senator talk like that. I mean, it's the same as listen to Tim Kaine say what he did about the founders and and our rights come from God and him contradicting all that, right?
Yeah, he said that sounds like a theocracy to me. Well, what it sounds like is somebody who hasn't read the Declaration of Independence or the Constitution.
These guys are Kelly and Gallegos coming up with any gems lately? Have you heard them say anything? Anything
Haven't
in
heard
the
too much
headlines?
out of them. They
Yeah.
criticized the attacks in the first few days that it happened
Oh
on
yeah,
Iran.
sure.
But
Yeah.
I haven't heard too much from them. Have you, Paul?
No, not really. They've heard from me though.
I know you're. I know
Yeah.
you're a
Your pen
writing,
pals.
but you're pen pals with Kelly. So
Oh, you bet I am. I read something today that was kind of fun. I started to send it to him, but it said they're talking about individuals' ideas versus committees. And he said the space shuttle was a committee, the International Space Station was a committee. He said, "Look what came out of that, Mark Kelly." That's why we can't trust committees.
Yeah, isn't that the truth? So here, I wanted to read you guys this. I saw this. This came up on Truth Social, and I don't know I don't think I sent it to you guys. It says, "Only in America will we stop a football game, drag out measuring chains, and look at a play 15 times from 6 different angles to make sure we made the right call, but won't verify the integrity of an election of the highest office in our nation."
Yeah, that's true.
That's pretty, isn't that good? Yeah, but some of the stuff these guys, I mean, the United States senators, you just can't fathom what in the world has gotten into
you
these.
say that, Paul, you say that, Don, as though you assume U.S. senators are higher on the rung of ladder of reasonableness.
Well,
Yeah.
But I think you've
they
got it
brag
backwards.
that they're many gods, right?
I hear it. I hear it's the best club in the world. 100 of them,
and
and
they,
there's nothing
they always
better
know.
than being.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
I
all
hear
know
there's
how to.
nothing
They
better
all
than
know how
being
to.
a U.S. senator.
Yeah, and they all know how to run the country better than the president, right? Even the Republicans think each one of them. So I guess a lot of United States senators have run for the presidency. Probably probably more senators than any other group, right? Other than
Well,
governors.
where else are you going to go once you've been a senator? You know,
Well, yeah,
you don't
but
want to go back to
governors,
being
a
a
lot of
regular
governors
congressman.
run, and then a lot of senators are just, they think they're the bee's knees, right? Yeah, oh yeah, I can be the president, no problem.
I was watching John Thune this morning, and he was asked about voting on the Save America Act, and he said we don't have the votes to do it. And what he meant was they don't have the votes to invoke cloture
Right, right.
to call for the vote for the Save Act. But he says he doesn't want to do the talking filibuster thing because it'll waste time in the Senate. Now that's
And he's
that's
wasted 3 weeks talking about
well,
it, right? Or not talking about it.
but he is going to bring it to a vote next week. He
Yeah,
said.
yeah,
So what we need to do is just make sure everybody understands that anybody votes against the cloture and voting for the Save America Act is voting against America. It's just
yeah,
that simple.
yeah. Yeah, he wants to get
So
him on record, but I hope that his strategy is better than that. I agree with that, but that can't be the end all. They've got to get that Save Act passed,
well, just
however
like
they
you
get
just
to do it.
said, just like you just quoted Don, we will watch a football play 16 times to see if we got the right call and all that kind of stuff, but we
Yeah,
won't ensure our
protect our
elections.
elections. I know,
And that's
it's
exactly what
crazy.
this amounts to. They've got all those important things they got to do in the Senate, but the first thing we got to do is make the Senate legitimate, and it's not right now.
Yeah. So everybody that's watching, John Thune's number is 202-224-2321. Please call him and tell him to pass the Save Act or get it passed, okay? I mean, the president told him at the State of the Union, which was back in when? February,
January,
right? Yeah,
February, yeah.
yeah. It's been almost a month, 3 weeks at least. So he's talking about wasting time. Please.
And next week, I will be bringing the Save America Act to the floor, and we'll be having a full and robust debate. So, Mr. President, what is the Save America Act? It is a package of common sense policies, the kind of common sense policies that should get an automatic yes vote from literally every member of this body. At the core of the Save America Act is the requirement that individuals provide proof of citizenship to register to vote and then show an ID when they go to the polls. In other words, it would require Americans to demonstrate that they're eligible to vote and that they are who they say they are when they go to do so. Not to keep using the word common sense, but it's pretty common sense, right? Mr. President, I can't guarantee an outcome on this legislation. But I can guarantee that we are going to put Democrats on the record, that they will be forced to defend their outrageous positions on these issues and explain to the American people why common sense and the Democratic Party have parted ways.
So and get get Department of Homeland Security, get that bill passed and get it done. I mean, you're burning daylight here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they just got to get
Yeah.
stuff done. You can't. I just really. That's the other thing that just sticks in my craw, and I'm sure it does you guys too. This filibuster that they fool around with that stupid rule. They're so worried about them retaliating when they're in power, but they're not in power. So get these
good
things
done
done.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah, get
I
good
mean,
things done now
yeah,
while we have all three branches.
that's right.
Or
There's
we
so
have all
much,
three
yeah,
bodies.
there's so much urgency for the country right now, right? And
I agree.
it's just I know it's different. I know a lot of people, they get all excited about Trump and some things, but man, as messed up as we were on January 20th of 2025, you can understand. I mean, I completely understand if you want to, in order to fix this mess, that we've got to do some things differently, right?
Right.
We do need to follow the rules, but there are certain rules that are just rules. They're not laws. They're not things that Congress or the Senate passed as a law, and the filibuster is one of them. It is not a law. It's an old rule that they've had in the Senate for years, and supposedly gives the minority some power in the Senate, right, over the majority. But number one, they let it get out of hand because they went to this what they call the zombie filibuster, where
Right.
you can just say you're going to filibuster, and that just kills something. Right? They don't even make them go on the floor and debate it. So at least next week they're going to make them go on the floor and debate it, which is good, right? That's a
Are
good
they?
thing. Yeah.
I didn't know they were
That-
going to do that.
Yeah, that's
I thought that was the issue that was in contention.
no, he talked on a thing I saw him speaking on the Senate floor, John Thune. He says, we're going to have that debate next week. So,
They're going to call for the
so
vote on the cloture. I don't
Yeah.
think they're going to. I haven't heard that, or I heard him say that we don't want to force or allow them to start a live filibuster, because they say that if we do that, we can't ever get the floor back, and it might take months and months before their filibuster's over.
Yeah.
So I think they're just going to put the cloture vote up, see that, there's 40 some, as long as there's 41 or more that vote against cloture, they're going to try to use that to say these are the people that are against the SAVE Act, and 79% of Americans are for it.
is there no limit to the floor filibuster at all? There's
Actually,
no
there
time
is. No,
limits?
I read the other day, each senator can make 2 presentations. They have to, but once they start talking, they can't stop and restart. But
Okay.
they can get back in rotation. So they can have, if we got, what do we have, 47 Democrat senators?
Yeah.
So even if they could talk for 24 hours, which I don't think many of them can, I don't think many of them can stand for that. But I mean, we ought to buy some stock in Depends. But anyway, if you ran through 47 twice, what is that? 80, 94,
Yeah,
94
94.
days, 94
Yeah.
days, if they all took 24 hours.
24 hours. Yeah.
But
And
they're not all going to take 24 hours.
Yeah,
And
it's
some
not
of them are
gonna
not going to say
happen.
anything at all. So
Well,
I think
how
he's
much?
exaggerating.
Yeah. How much can you talk about letting illegals vote and letting non-citizens vote? And
But the filibuster doesn't have to have a subject. I've seen them
No,
read green eggs and
they
ham.
start reading the phone book, or they just
Yeah.
start reading the Bible, or not. Well, they wouldn't read the Bible, but
Yeah.
they just start reading Mein Kampf or something. I don't know.
Yeah. So all they got to do is stand there and keep talking, and they can't leave the podium. Once they
Yeah.
leave the podium, they're done
right.
at that point for that filibuster speech.
Well, I guess
But
we'll find out.
apparently, the person in control of the podium can give it over to the next person that just keeps the filibuster going.
I don't know
Or does this?
that's not the way I read it. From what I saw,
Yeah.
it was you have to stand at the podium and talk until you can't talk anymore. Or you go to sleep or you fall down, and then the next person can come
you
up.
stop.
But they aren't extending your talk.
Yeah.
They have to start their own.
They start their own.
Clock starts again.
So do we think that JD Vance is going to show up there next week and be running the show? What do you think?
I don't know.
Think that's part of the plan?
I don't know.
He could.
Yeah, he can.
I read something this morning that's kind of, as I've stated before, that in a closed door meeting in the White House, they came out saying that Rubio looks like he's a sure shot for the presidential ticket in the next election in the 28? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we've talked about Marco's ineligibility, and so I'm concerned about that. I don't know how to get that thought into the RNC that you can't be putting up ineligible people in violation of the Constitution. Somebody, you see, they've never actually come out with a Supreme Court decision on what a natural born citizen is.
Mm-hmm.
They've talked about natural citizens and American-born citizens and birthright citizenship, but the natural-born citizen is a unique animal.
Well, Paul, remind me what is the issue with Rubio? Was he born outside
his parents were not United States citizens when he was born. And in order to be a natural born citizen, your parents have to be citizens of the country in question.
But he was born in the U.S.? Where was he born?
No, they can be naturalized citizens, but they have to be citizens of the country. Then their offspring is a natural born citizen of that country. Rubio's parents were fresh off the boat from Cuba and were not U.S. citizens at the time that he was born. Okay. He was born in Florida. He's a naturalized citizen, and that's not the same thing as a natural born citizen.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you can look it up. It's Vattel's Law of Nations.
I wonder if he's going to be affected by the birthright citizenship question, right, in the Supreme Court.
No, because his parents were here legally.
Okay.
They were under the jurisdiction of the United States.
So they came legally. So there's another.
He came legally. So they are naturalized citizens, and they came over legal, and he is a naturalized citizen also.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he's not a natural born citizen. That's the difference.
Well, did that issue kind of come up in any significant way when he was a candidate? Wasn't he one of the 16 with?
No, it didn't.
He was in the primary.
So it didn't come up. Tulsi Gabbard up there. Tulsi Gabbard isn't a natural born citizen. She's a citizen of Samoa. So we're not following our own rules. Is what the issue is. Kamala Harris wasn't legitimate as a vice president because the 25th Amendment says that the vice president has to meet the requirements of the president, and the president has to be a natural born citizen. So they're just ignoring the rules because they're in the big club, and as George Carlin says, you ain't in it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So, but we got to get back to the Constitution, because we keep leaking out the edges like this and getting people like Obama who had no real loyalty to the United States.
I remember back when, in the early days of 2016, Patty and I told everybody we were supporting Donald Trump. Early days. I'm talking about after he walked down the escalator days. And man, we got in some arguments with some of those people in Green Valley. And one lady started yelling and screaming about Marco Rubio. He was the bee's knees. And we said, no, we're going with Trump. We don't. So yeah, there's a lot of people that are pushing Marco, but I think J.D. Vance is my choice.
I liked Marco before I, kind of came to know Trump. In fact, I went to an event where he came to Arizona, and I met him personally, and I sent him a couple hundred bucks, I think.
Yeah.
Early in that race, but then once Trump prevailed, I sent Trump a couple thousand.
Yeah.
So,
well, we're gonna push for J.D. Vance to be the presidential.
Well, candidate. I heard that Rubio was quoted as saying, "If Vance runs, Rubio will not."
Yeah, I heard that too. Yeah. So I heard that too, Ken. So. And not that Rubio is a smart guy. I think Rubio's done a better job as Secretary of State than he did ever as a senator. When he got involved with the Gang of Eight, his Marco's name kind of became mud for a while, and in some of the ranks, right? When he was trying to help McCain out with his crazy immigration stuff, But now he's done a great job as Secretary of State. No complaints.
I agree.
Yeah. He's really turned up the clock. So
yeah, if he can't be president, and I say he can't, but I'm not the end all be all of presidential.
You're not?
No, I'd like to think I was, because I know which button I'd push, but he is a bright guy. I have no qualms about him as a human being or a good person, or thinking his head's on straight. I wouldn't mind him being president if people are going to break the rules. Let's break the rules and put a good guy in. I go with that, but I don't think we should break the rules. Is my point.
Well, it's going to be interesting. I think Marco's really loyal. I think he's pretty loyal to Trump, and I think JD Vance is loyal to Trump. So yeah, I heard what Ken did. I heard if JD Vance runs, which I think he will, um, then I think Marco he would probably either stay as Secretary of State, make a deal, or he would go ahead and join him as the Vice President. So,
What's
but
your
he,
governor
He
DeSantis going to
can't be the
do,
vice
Don?
president.
I think there's something going on there between Trump and DeSantis because he was with Trump the other day in DC when they had that college roundtable, when they gathered about talking about how they're going to fix college sports because college sports are broken right now. College sports are a mess right now. Well, I just saw where ASU fired their basketball coach, Ken. I don't know if you heard Bobby
Yeah,
Hurley.
I did.
Bobby
Yeah.
Hurley, Bobby Hurley is off a Duke national championship team, play for Mike Krzyzewski. Probably couldn't get a better guy to coach, but it just didn't work for him there. I don't know
Yeah.
why, but ASU has never been known as a basketball school,
Yeah.
really. So that makes a difference. That's with Colorado. We've never been known as a basketball school either. So it's hard to get your basketball program going
Yeah.
when all of the focus is on the Sun Devil football or the Colorado football. They're trying to get that going. So uh, yeah, and then the other thing DeSantis did, he was down there in Miami for this new thing they're putting together to guard against the cartels that he moved. Um, what's her name from Christy Nome? He
Oh,
moved her down
Kristen
there,
Noem, the
moved her
Shield
over
of
to this.
America.
Yeah, Shield of America. Yeah, DeSantis was there too. So there's something going on there. I think as soon as DeSantis time's up as governor, he's going to be on Trump's cabinet doing something.
Hmm.
Now, after that, I don't know, but he's going to be working for Trump somewhere doing something, and I don't know what that's going to be. But
How old
and
is DeSantis?
I think he's in his 40s.
Yeah, that'd be my guess.
How old is Ron DeSantis?
Yeah. See if I'm right. I think he's
47.
47. Yeah, there you go. So
I
he's
think
about,
Rubio's about a decade older than Vance. So
yeah,
Vance going
and
ahead of,
Vance is 39, I think. 38,
I think
39.
Rubio's in his upper 40s.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So they're both, they're all pretty young guys and we have some good young guys, some new blood where the Democrats they are really hurting for young blood, right?
Yeah.
They got a bunch of crazy old people.
Yeah, and the people they keep coming up with are way out
Even
left
crazier.
field. Yeah,
But look at the guy down in Texas. Did you see the guy down in Texas?
Talarico.
Oh my goodness. Have you heard what he said, Ken? Have you
No.
heard that guy? Oh, he says God says there are more than two genders.
Oh, that's right. I did
He
hear
claims
that.
to be a Christian. He
Yeah.
claims to be a Christian, and he says God, yeah, there's more than two genders.
Hmm.
Really?
Must be a different God because the one I got in my book says man and woman.
I missed something in the Bible about that. They must have snuck something in there I didn't see. So yeah.
Just
Anyway, yeah,
leave that
they got some people on their side that I just don't get it. And he's running in Texas.
well,
I just that ain't happening down there, right?
So
They-
why
No.
is the president delaying his endorsement between Paxton and Cornyn? I
Well-
heard that he was trying to use that somehow as leverage on Thune to
As a Save Act.
pass the SAVE Act, but I don't quite see that
Well,
connection yet.
Paxton came out publicly and said if they'll pass the Save Act, he'll drop out of the race.
Oh,
no, he said I don't think he said he would. I think he said he would consider.
Okay.
Oh.
Well, but he made that that he talked about it in that vein, and so I think Trump really likes Ken Paxton, and he defended Ken Paxton when when they were trying to take him out as Attorney General of Texas, right? They tried to
Right.
impeach him. The
Right.
Republicans tried to impeach him, and Cornyn was on their side. Okay, he was pushing from D.C. to get rid of Paxton as Attorney General. So there's a lot of animosity there between those two. But I think Trump likes Paxton. And
I think he likes Cornyn too.
I think he does, but I don't think he's sure. He's not absolutely sure about John Cornyn.
Cornyn's voted for some things that are very non-positive for the gun lobby. Anyway,
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
he voted for the increase in the money for the red flag laws, the emergency
Yeah.
restraint orders. He's done a couple of things that just really turn the gun lobby off big time. So,
Yeah. Well, that's going to be interesting. That's a good question, Ken. And I don't know. I don't know the inner workings of all that, but that's just some of the stuff that I've heard between those two. And I think either one would be a good senator. I think Paxton would be a good senator, and Cornyn has done okay. He's not perfect, but he's not a McConnell. And that's the one I worry about is McConnell going to survive to pass the SAVE Act, right? I don't know if he's in favor or not, but I don't know if he even knows, which way's up. I mean, the guy is just he's gone downhill so badly.
And he does catatonic.
I know they throw him in front of camera and he says 5 words and then he just freezes, right? I mean, he doesn't know what's going on. So anyway, guys, we're coming to the end of our hour on episode 70. So anything else you want to bring up, or shall we sign off?
My agenda's clear now.
Okay,
I'm good.
My agenda's clear. Okay, so you guys, thanks for coming on today. Sorry we missed Jeff. I didn't get any. Maybe he sent me a text, but I missed it or something. Anyway, I'm glad you got present to the heirs of the Republic, Ken. He's got a good group, and
It was a good group. Yeah.
yeah, and your presentation is really good. So I think it really helps people understand. They don't realize how tall that stack is.
Oh boy. Yeah.
Right? Yeah, it just doesn't. And then when you just think if you tried to stack that for the feds.
Oh. Well, I do have a box presentation for the federal budget,
Do you?
but instead of each box being $1 billion, it's
Dominoes?
100 billion.
Oh, okay. I was going to say maybe you use dominoes.
I was going to say 100. Each one's 100 billion, and we talk about matchboxes.
That's right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Understand. So, okay, everybody. Thank you very much. Thanks, Ken, for joining. Thanks. Oh, there we go.
All righty.
There you go. Let me see, Ken. Let's see the box. There you go. Social Security. Yeah. Yeah. Good.
A few years ago, it was 600 billion. So there's 6 boxes for Social Security, and
Okay.
I got veteran benefits are a couple $100 billion, and oh yeah, it's. When I was running for Congress, I did a Kleenex box thing for the federal budget, just like I had done for the state budget.
Good.
But it didn't get me elected, so I must have done something wrong.
Well, it's a good presentation, and I'm glad you got to present to those folks. Anyway, thanks everybody for joining us. This is
God
4
bless
Men in
America.
America. Yeah, God bless America. We're signing off for tonight, and we'll see you all next week. Thank you very much. Good night, guys.
Good night.
Good night.
Years ago, I was asked to explain the state budget to a women's lunch club of about 200 ladies, and they said I had 20 minutes. And they were the creative women of Pinnacle Peak, so I thought I'd better get creative, and I came up with a way of explaining where the state spends your tax dollars. We start with the fact that each one of these boxes is $1 billion. Now, you can see these yellow boxes are out here. That's called the state general fund. The general fund comes from sales taxes and income taxes. And the state general fund right now is just shy of about $13 billion. About $6 billion goes to K-12 education. about $1 billion to higher education, that's universities and community colleges. The prison and court system is about $2 billion. Health and welfare, $3.5 billion. The largest single one is Access, our indigent healthcare system, Arizona Healthcare Cost Containment System. And then all the rest of state government that is paid for out of the general fund is about $500 million. So there's $13 billion. This is the 2022 budget. The next group of spending that the state does are called other funds. These funds come from special revenue sources. For example, in the health and welfare system, taxes on cigarettes and alcohol, or in the transportation system, taxes on gasoline and diesel fuel. And these other funds, other state funds, $500 million in K-12 education, about $1 billion in higher education, $2 billion more in health and welfare, and $1.5 billion in transportation, capital, and other. Before we go any further, in the area of education, in addition to the state monies that go into K-12 and higher education, there's some local property tax monies in these lavender boxes. There's about $5 billion of local property tax money that's collected by the K-12 school districts around the state. Charter schools do not get property tax money. And then there's about $1 billion a year that the community college system collects from local property taxes. So yellow is the state general fund, white is other state monies, lavender local property tax. The last monies that the state accounts for are called federal and other non-appropriated. They do not go through the legislature's appropriation process. Most of these blue boxes are federal monies, but there are some that are other monies. There's about $3 billion of federal money that comes into the K-12 school system. There's about $5 billion of federal and other, for example, tuition monies that the students are paying as a portion of their expense at a university or community college is also in this 5 with the other federal monies. There's about $500 million federal monies that comes into prisons and courts. By far the biggest is health and welfare, $22 billion of federal money in addition to the state monies. Most of this is Obamacare. When I used to do this presentation just a few years ago, K-12 added up to about 10 and health and welfare added up to about 10. Now, health and welfare is $22 billion of federal plus $27.5 billion total each year. And then there's a few others. The lottery and some other economic opportunity monies, capital projects, the Department of Administration, which is not federal money, but it's mostly state employee retirements and things like that, and a variety of other little programs that get paid for with federal monies. The total amount of spending that the state keeps track of each year, again, this is the 2022 budget, is about $53 billion. Only 18 of it is the state money, the yellow and the white, about 5 or 6 of local property tax money, the lavender, all the rest is federal and other monies. That explains the state budget in a few minutes. I hope you enjoyed it.
Let's start with the senator's remarks.
And next week, I will be bringing the Save America Act to the floor, and we will be having a full and robust debate. So, Mr. President, what is the Save America Act? It is a package of common sense policies, the kind of common sense policies that should get an automatic yes vote from literally every member of this body. At the core of the Save America Act is the requirement that individuals provide proof of citizenship to register to vote and then show an ID when they go to the polls. In other words, it would require Americans to demonstrate that they're eligible to vote and that they are who they say they are when they go to do so. Not to keep using the word common sense, but it's pretty common sense, right? Mr. President, I can't guarantee an outcome on this legislation, but I can guarantee that we are going to put Democrats on the record, that they will be forced to defend their outrageous positions on these issues and explain to the American people why common sense and the Democratic Party have parted ways.
I don't much like the way you celebrate.